here we go. Eric Keller here with Enthusiast Auto Group. Today we're at EAG Super Secret Warehouse number 1, and we're with a very, very special car, one that we'll call a EAG Signature Car. This is a repeat visitor that's gone through the program multiple times and really stands out to us for a couple important reasons that our fellow enthusiasts will certainly appreciate, whether they're looking for a car they can drive a lot, drive a little, collect. It's a car that really stands off the page to us relative to its position in the market. This car has just 34,000 miles and has gone through our program now twice. This is the third time we've brought this car to market, which is what has helped deem it a signature car. The condition is just off the charts, and Hagerty would rate this as a number 1 condition car. The paint is amazingly original with just a single exception there on the rear. We'll come back to that. Every body panel is a numbers matching original panel to the car, and from a component standpoint, it is all original without any modifications, but also has just about every original part that this car left the factory with, sans the oil filters, and I'll again come back to that. You're looking and probably wondering why there's a temporary tag on the car for December, yet here it is in May. Well, the collector that we sold the car to at the end of the year last year, just in time to put it up for winter hibernation, has fallen into a business opportunity that, well, required some capital, and instead of taking out a loan, well, this is an asset alternative, or cash alternative, I should say. And as you can hear, the engine's just purring along. We'll go ahead and turn that off. The E30s don't typically like to idle too long, but I wanted you at least to just hear how smooth that idles, at least at the beginning. But this collector wanted to go ahead and make a good business move, and we certainly are happy to bring the car back in as the next cash alternative for the next guy. And this is definitely a car that fits that model well. It's one of the best ones that we'll see. Obviously sounds fantastic, and it's got enough mileage on it that it can be used and driven. It's got few enough mileage on it that it's still going to appeal to a high-end collector. The car still has its cosmoline, yet you'll notice that we've got a white reservoir tank on the coolant bottle there, and of course we've obviously had that conversation many of time. The yellow bottles are cool and original. Well, guess what? All of that stuff is in the trunk. All of it. There's the coolant bottle, the water pump, the thermostat, even the corner plates, the splash panels that were replaced, the original air filter with its BMW part number on it, down to the roundel, fuel filter even. That's just crazy. We don't need that stuff, but certainly it does help validate that the car is original and honest, for the same reason that we have this tail light. And you're like, why do you have an extra tail light, and why is it cracked right there? Well, that's the reason for the little bit of paintwork on the car, is that little golf ball dent right there that we've opted to not remove. We could probably make it a little better, but then we'd have to probably risk breaking the paint, which I don't want to do. Something backed into the car and caught just the edge of the trunk lid, and so they did have to repaint the trunk lid and the spoiler and replace the tail light. That was something that they just spent the money to fix, and that's the only disclosure, the only really thing that somebody needs to know to make sure they're buying with their eyes wide open, because everything else is pretty much in the service binder. We got great records, and the car's been in California most of its most recent life, which is where EAG acquired the car back in 2018. It's been in California since 2006. That was the third owner, and he went to a really great shop in Southern California, one that we know pretty well, Bimmer's Clinic, and they've, of course, added their little stickers as well as a lot of nice updates, which the car arrived and didn't need a ton of stuff back at 32,000 miles when we originally acquired the car. We went ahead and did the EAG Rejuve program, taking care of everything that we immediately found and everything that we could forecast moving forward for the next owner. And that was another $11,000 of investment into the car. And the 2 EAG clients that have bought the car subsequent have put $0 in it. Frankly, the odometer now is sitting at 34,783. Our most recent client drove the car, got it registered, shook it down, put it back in storage before winter, and now getting it ready to break into spring. Well, sold the car back to us, so he didn't put a lot of miles on the car, hence the temp tag still on it. Frankly, the gas that the car left with, the car has not been washed since it left EAG, and a lot of guys are probably shaking their head of, that's such a waste. And well, it probably wasn't exactly the best use of the resource at the time. His intentions were right to buy the top level E30 M3 that he could find at the time, which this was the best one we had for sale back then. And frankly, when business calls, you got to make the business move. And he will be back and buying other cars from us. And we've actually bought another vehicle from him subsequent with this M3 to help him get where he needs to go to make those moves. And when the cars are quality like this, they certainly are easy to jump back into. And again, this is a bit of a cash alternative asset where it's not exactly a car that you're going to put 500 or 2,000 miles a year on every single year. But you certainly can, because the car is 100% ready to go, and it's at a mileage level that it's not going to have a big opportunity cost to put the miles on it. Whether it's got 34K or 38K or 42,000 miles a couple years from now, it's still going to be an uber low mileage car, and the condition's still going to be top. EAG performed a comprehensive 6-7 stage paint correction on the car back in 2018, double layer ceramic coating. We've done another light polish, another ceramic coating before the car left last year. And well, I'm looking forward to giving the car a bath and knocking the dust off to really let this car shine through. It is certainly an exceptional car with very, very few imperfections. And taking a close-up look, we'll see that we've got fresh wheels with 2018 tires installed by yours truly. We did a 10-year service. The car also had the alternator brackets, the intake manifold gaskets, which were original on the car. And that's a real common S14 shortcoming that most of them have been changed way early in the car's life, but the car had low enough mileage that they had not yet been done. Seat shocks, and that's a little simple thing that a lot of people probably don't think about, but if you pull the lever and the seat just falls back, that's quite annoying, and so we went ahead and changed those as well. The M5 in the background there is a first-time visitor. We had to get that out to make room for the E30 M3, the Diamond Schwartz. The EAG repeat visitor number 1 as patient 0, and that's the car that really started the whole repeat visitor program. That's the first E30 M3 that we ever bought back. It's the second E30 M3 we ever bought new. And the reason it's outside today is because it is heading up to the workshop to go through its final quality control post-sale inspection, as this car is just sold and will be heading to a new home in Oregon. First time EAG client, and he's done a nice job vetting the car with us. We went through and did a nice group conversation with him and his son and some other enthusiasts that are quite close to him, and went through, answered all the questions. And the first purchase is always the hardest and the a little bit nerve-wracking for some that don't buy cars out of state sight unseen. However, EAG's always sold cars out of state sight unseen back 20 years ago even. And so our process is very smooth, very simple. We certainly assure that our clients are going to get exactly what they're paying for. We'll give them their money back. And you're sitting there shaking your head probably like, this guy's crazy. Well, we've never had to do that because our stuff is going to be on point. We're going to make sure that the clients are getting exactly what they are paying for. So this car sold for $65,000. That is about the entry-level price point for an EAG E30 M3 these days. And we've always sold this car a little bit more aggressively to ensure that the next guy is motivated to jump in it and taste the EAG flavor, for the fact that we've been referred to as your good old high school or college drug dealer many a time, serving out the M car flavors. And once you get the taste, it's pretty easy to come back often. And this car has certainly made a lot of really great long-term clients for us, having sold it now 12 times. That's right, this is the 12th time we've sold this Diamond Schwartz E30 M3. And for $65,000, you can't get much nicer condition. Again, it's a little bit dusty, as is all the cars here today, but the condition is just off the charts. And the amount of work and effort and energy and money that EAG has invested into this car is, again, it's not too far off of 65 grand. And that's certainly going to ensure that this first-time EAG client has a turnkey experience, has a great time with it. And he's, again, already started talking to us about buying an E28 M5. I don't know if it'll be this 79,000-mile car or one of the other 7 E28 M5s in addition to this one that we currently have in stock, starting out at the 9,000-mile mark and finishing off at the 88,000-mile mark with the one-owner E28 M5. The E28 certainly has a very special place in my heart and is the reason that EAG came to fruition and made a focus solely on the M brand. And this car is a really awesome example, having every bit of its original paint. And I'm really looking forward to making a video on this car, unless it sells earlier than I have the opportunity. The silver Z3 M Roadster, I said that same comment about, is sold since making the last video and is heading to a new Enthusiast home. Again, another EAG first-time client. This M5 has a couple really cool, tasteful mods, so you'll notice that the suspension is just a little bit lower than stock, and that's the Bavarian Autosport self-leveling delete system. And the car carries on with that theme inside with the good old total trademark Bavarian Autosport cup holders. I mean, come on, these things are so period correct down to the cork in the bottom of them. And then, of course, the Bavarian Autosport floor mats and slight short shift. But everything else drivetrain-wise is stock, with the exception of performance chip, which pretty much every M5 will have. And, you know, these M5s were driven and used, and 79,000 miles is quite low mileage for one of these. And frankly, it's the second from the highest mileage one that we have, which is kind of awesome to say, because most of the time they're going to be in the 100, 200, 300,000 mile range. But certainly not look like this. And this car's been a lot of Concours events, and literally the original owner, the owner that we bought the car from, showed the car so many times. He literally, buffed the paint off the car in a couple spots. And we always hear that story, but we never see the evidence. And well, I repainted the car because the guy, rubbed the paint off the car. Well, where's the car that had the paint rubbed off and still survives today? That's going to be a rare piece, and frankly, that's the card I'm going to play with this car, because I don't want to repaint a darn thing on it. It's just too honest, it's too nice, it doesn't need it, and the car's earned those little marks of integrity from love from the previous owner. And that's certainly destined to be an EAG signature car once we go through it a couple more times, albeit we put 20 grand into the first round of rejuvenation so that the car is turnkey ready for that next enthusiast owner. Completing out this one take final lap, of course, we've got the Alpina wagon that I am super excited to share with you guys. I'm going to drive this car here for the next couple days and really get some seat time and acclimated and live with it. I hope I don't have to end up keeping it as a result, because I mean, come on, this is the neatest E34 Touring ever built, and the couple of times I have driven it, it is remarkably fast. But we'll get more on the details of this car here in the next couple of videos, so be sure to subscribe to make sure you don't miss that. Going back to the market, the E30 M3 market has been relatively good, and we've seen some other cars, non-EAG cars, sell for some pretty strong money here recently. This car sold for $120,000 last year. We will be selling the car again for the exact same amount this time, $119,990, and all fees and things, including a grand or two in shipping, you're about 122 grand delivered to most areas in the country. The car will certainly not disappoint, and you will not be putting anything into the car after the fact. That will be a super enjoyable ownership experience, and I certainly look forward to meeting the next enthusiast owner of this very special car. It certainly will not disappoint. That is, well, our MO. We'll just simply go through and do another final round of quality control, because the car is going to start fresh. Even though it's been not very many miles since it left, the calendar has continued to tick. We will put it through every single step of the EAG program again, just to verify and ensure quality is on point. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe for more. We got a lot of really cool cars in the pipeline. Thankfully, we've been buying some stuff here last couple weeks. If you are interested in selling your pride and joy and basically putting it up for adoption is a more likely term. We are accepting applications and would be happy to keep your car in a great home and be able to keep tabs on it. We've sold the same car to the same person back, same VIN number many a time, ensuring that they don't lose track of it when the opportunity presents. And if it is a good time to sell your car, we certainly would love to help keep it in the right enthusiast home. So thanks again for tuning in. Subscribe for more. See ya.